Welcome, everybody, to our latest video conversation. Virtual or hybrid? That is the question. My name is Ken Kahn. I am the Director of Partnerships and Collaboration here at i2i Technologies, and I'm here with.
I'm Roxanne Glauser. I'm Director of Marketing and Learning here at i2i Technologies. And today we are going to be looking at the differences between virtual and hybrid and how do you choose between those. So the first part, we're going to start with some definitions because Ken, I talked to lots of people about this and some people are still a little bit like, is it virtual? Is it hybrid? What is it? Do you want to start us out with how would you define a virtual event?
Basically, I would define a virtual event as attending anything that doesn't have a physical location that everybody goes to, right? I would say typically in most virtual events, people are attending from their computer or sometimes from their tablet, sometimes even from a smartphone. Usually it's one person there attending the event. Sometimes you'll have small groups of people in a virtual event, kind of attend, maybe it's an office, they're in a small conference room in an office attending the event, but there's not just one physical location to go to. Would you add anything to that, or how would you describe it to somebody? How would you describe virtual event to somebody?
Well, as you were describing that, the other word that popped up was distributed, so it doesn't have a location, but it's also distributed, easily. And so I think that was an older term we used to use for a virtual. It would be a distributed event. But yeah, the virtual not having a particular location.
How would you define hybrid event? How's that different from just a virtual event?
This is the hot one right now, right? So we've got some people want to be in person, some people want to do virtual. And I say want, sometimes it's out of necessity, the virtual becomes valuable. But the hybrid is there is part of your group at a physical location. So gathered together, it could be a small group, a larger group, but it has a virtual component. So that's going to be the hybrid. So if you've got some people who are on site together and others that are connecting in, just as you mentioned before, through computers, tablets, phones, from various locations, because sometimes if you are en route somewhere, you'll want to dial in and you're kind of, maybe you're traveling, maybe you're in a car, you want to connect in. So that's what I would do with the hybrid. Part of the people are together in a physical location. Others are distributed throughout and connect in virtually.
Yeah, I would agree. In a typical hybrid event, there's one main physical location, and then people are connecting in virtually to that location that can't travel to it or aren't in that town. Sometimes with a hybrid event, there'll be hubs too. Like there'll be maybe three physical locations where there's large groups of people, and then those locations are connecting together, and then people even outside of those locations. That would be a large scale hybrid event. But most hybrid events, you got one main physical location, and then people are connecting in virtually that can't travel to that location. And I would agree, Roxanne, like that's the popular one right now, because some people are like, I didn't like the whole virtual thing when it was forced upon us. I want to get together with people. I want to be in the same space with people. And then there's people that are like, I love that. And I never want to get into a spot with people again, ever. I want to always connect from my computer in an undisclosed location that nobody knows where I'm connecting in from.
Or
I
there,
don't know who those people would be, but they are out there. I promise you, they're out there.
I feel like that was a little bit of self-disclosure in that answer. Mhm. Now, the other part with that, there are people who maybe they do enjoy being around other people, but the circumstances might dictate that for an event that they would love to be in person, that they can't. And so that's where I think one of the strengths or one, I don't want to jump into the other one, but to be able to connect in via a virtual offering into that hybrid event versus missing out on all of the content, missing out completely on the event, I think is something that is attractive to some people when you're like, I just can't get there, but I still want to be involved or to learn and to have that information. But yeah,
Now,
people,
there's another aspect to this as well. When we're talking about a virtual part of the event, sometimes it can be live or it can be pre-recorded. Like sometimes people are going to pre-record that event and then broadcast it live. Sometimes it's 100% live. It's happening in real time.
yeah, that's I think as people, as ever since the pandemic, when we threw everyone into the virtual pool, so to speak, I think people have gotten more sophisticated in understanding different types of technologies, different modalities. And this one, I think, is a key distinction because you do have that live aspect, which could be a live stream, which is just one to many, and the many are coming back with text comments, things like that, versus a two-way interactive live, which is going to be different from your live stream, or the pre-recording and putting it up. And this is where, as we go through our conversation today, we're going to dive into some of the nuance of each of these, some of the advantages, some of the challenges, just other things that we have noticed in very specific contexts, just because we've been doing this for so long and we've worked within these technologies. And so that's where we're going to be headed with the conversation today.